Good day, everyone watching this podcast. Thank you for joining us today. In this session, we'll be talking about air pollution. This issue is vital here in Mindanao and resonates with our Christian faith. In this podcast, we'll be dive deeper into air pollution, its consequences, and proactive measures we can take, and reflect on our responsibilities. Together with our guests, let's comprehend how we can positively impact our community and live out the values of God.
Thank you for that brief overview, City. Before we dive into today's discussion, let's warmly welcome our guests, Mr. Braille Barrel and Sir Kevin Diono. They'll be joining us to share their insights on addressing air pollution. Now, without further ado, let's start with a brief overview of Mindanao's current air quality situation. According to the data that our team has gathered, the air quality, especially here in the Philippines, has decreased over the past years. According to the collected statistics, the Philippines is one of the countries that has the most pollution contributors and has ranked 79 out of 134 countries as the most polluted country. The Philippines contains PM or particulate matter of 2.5, which can cause serious health problems if inhaled in large numbers. Contributors such as factories and industrial emissions, burning fossil fuels, and wildfires are some of the leading causes of air pollution.
I also like to point out that our automobiles contribute significantly to air pollution. While they are essential for us to reach our destinations, we must not overlook the harmful emissions they release, which profoundly impact our community. So whenever possible, especially if it's only short distance, I encourage walking as a way of transportations to reduce these emissions and promote a healthier environment.
Besides just what Bral said, deforestation is another factor in air pollution. With the decreasing number of trees, less carbon dioxide will be absorbed, which could cause greenhouse gases. Without proper management, dry leaves, branches, and logs can be highly flammable, resulting into forest fires, releasing smoke and carbon that damages our atmosphere. A solution to counter this issue would be to start planting more trees and plants.
Thank you for sharing your insights. I hope we can further discuss the importance of good air quality and other strategies to combat air pollution. At this juncture, I would like to introduce our special guest, Miss Ashley Rico, who will comment on our discussion and add on her ideas.
Air pollution remains a pressing issue, affecting millions worldwide. It leads to serious health problems and contributes to climate change, making government action essential. Recently, our government announced plans to modernize public transportation, which can help reduce air pollution. While this initiative is promising, the high cost for drivers have hindered its implementation. Our government officials must consider subsidizing these expenses to ensure the program can move forward effectively and deliver its intended benefits.
UNSDG 13 Climate Action urged immediate global efforts to combat climate change and its impacts. It highlights the need for international cooperation to enhance resilience to climate hazards, improve climate education, and incorporate climate measures into national policies and planning. In, Chris- in Christian morality, climate action is a duty as stewards of God's creation. Believers are called to protect the earth, acknowledging the harm caused by environmental neglect. True freedom involves making responsible choices that care for the planet and promote the common good, making climate action a moral obligation in Christian teachings.
We are called to care for Earth, protect it, and not just enjoy its beauty. God entrusted us with this responsibility. This divine mandate reminds us that caring for the creation is not just an environmental issue, but also a moral obligation. Our love for God and our neighbors compels us to protect the environment for future generations. This responsibility tells us to consider how our actions impact the environment.
In the Old Testament book, Genesis 2, people care correctly for their environment. The moral principle encourages practices that protects our environment for the benefit of the people. As God's gift, Moral principles are highly concerned with the caring of the earth. It teaches us to avoid bad habits, especially the effects of air pollution because it can damage the ecosystem, causes diseases, and lead to climate change. It can be a threat to human and animal lives. Christians' moral advocate a life that does not harm any being, is simple, and maintains a clean environment. Christians must care for their earth and trying to live up the responsibility should decreases pollution.
The issue of air pollution is a huge problem. It leads to serious health issues for millions of people. In Psalms 24, verse 1, the earth is the Lord's and everything in it. This means we are responsible for looking after the earth, which is a gift from God, so we must cherish it.
From reading the scriptures, I remember a specific verse that would inspire individuals and communities to take action to improve our air quality. In Doctrine and Covenants section 104 verse 13 it says here, "For it is expedient that I, the Lord, should make every man accountable as a steward over earthly blessings, which I have made and prepared for my creatures." This verse tells that the Lord entrusted us to care for the earth and we will be held accountable for how we treat his creations. Taking care of our environment is also taking care of humanity's health. I believe that by nurturing our surroundings, we are showing that we love the Lord and His creations.
Human freedoms allow people to make decisions that are consistent with a moral obligation, like taking steps to improve the air quality in Mindanao. People may advocate for stronger environmental laws, reduce pollution, and to work together to solve the problem. True freedom, however, includes the obligation to consider personal preferences, the welfare of others, and environment. People may People may help make the environment healthier and more sustainable for everyone by responsibly using their freedom.
It is often easy to feel removed from climate change. The truth, however, is that it's built on millions of small choices we make each day. There isn't much to complain about large industries or governments, for as long as we stand aside. Of course, they play a huge role, but so do we. It's how we live, what we consume, how we travel, and what we waste. We are all part of the problem, which also make us capable of being part of the solution.
At this juncture, we welcome everyone to answer some questions prepared for our guests. Are you guys ready? For our first question, is our world and its resources valuable, or does its value only come for human needs?
Others say that Earth and all there is of worth within it is something far more profound and of far greater value than what is justly attached to its use by a human. This approach recognizes the inherent value of nature, ecosystem, and biodiversity beyond human use. In this sense, the planet may be worthy not for the mankind but for the intrinsic beauty of nature, for moral imperatives to preserve it for its own sake or because it has been kept in ecosystem balance. Others opine that the value of the earth and its resources is due to their use of people. Under this approach, resources such as water, forests, and minerals accrue value due to their provision for the sustenance of human life, development, and well being. The resources have little or no value if a man has little or no need or desire for them.
Thank you for that, Mr. Barrett. Here is another question. How does human freedom influence our response to climate change? And what responsibilities do we hold in addressing this issue?
Because environmental justice emphasizes how climate change affects disproportionately harm already vulnerable communities, like low-income and marginalized groups. It compels us to evaluate the moral implication of this phenomenon. These populations frequently bear the brunt of environment degradation's effect despite contributing the least to them. Raising questions of accountability and justice, more equitable climate policies that put the needs of the most vulnerable first are advocated by the concept.
Thank you for that, Ms. Rico. For our third question, how do social, cultural, and economic factors influence human cooperation on global environmental issues?
Social, cultural, and economic factors significantly influence human cooperation on global environmental issues. Socially shared values and community engagement can drive collective action, while cultural beliefs shape perception and priorities regarding environmental stewardship. Economically, wealth rates and resource availability affect the nation's ability to invest in sustainable practices and technologies. Cooperation is often challenged by differentiating national interests and economic dependencies, leading to conflicting approaches to environmental policies. Fostering a global cooperation requires addressing these diverse factors to create inclusive, sustainable strategies for environmental sustainability.
The fourth question is, what are the most effective individual action address climate change?
To effectively address climate change individually, people can reduce their carbon footprints by using public transportation, biking, or walking instead of driving. Reducing meat consumption and using plant-based diet can significantly lower greenhouse gas emissions. Lastly, supporting renewable energy source and being energy efficient at home, such as using LED bulbs and energy efficient appliances, can mitigate climate change.
Lastly, how can we exercise our human freedom to improve Mindanao's air quality?
Exercising this freedom to improve the air quality in Mindanao requires conscious choices that shall be made in daily life and advocacy of sustainable ways. In terms of reducing emissions, when people choose public or carpooling transport instead of taking individual vehicles, even riding bicycles lessens emissions. It is among the significant contributors to polluted air. So, supporting a local tree planting project and proper waste disposal will be necessary. The parabolic dish is more than just a technology for energy or communication. Did you know that it is an essential tool in fighting against climate change? Parabolic systems such as solar parabolic troughs and dishes contribute to advancing Sustainable Development Goal 13, which is climate action by efficiently harnessing solar energy. They gather sun rays to generate heat, which can later be transformed into electric energy or directly applied for heating. So, how can this be a tool to help combat climate change? Parabolic technologies use the sun's heat to generate clean energy to mitigate global warming, lowering reliance on fossil fuels and carbon emissions. They charge energy for night use, power far-flung regions, take up less land area, and create clean jobs. In a nutshell, they are necessary for environmentally friendly ways of doing things. We can protect our planet and build a sustainable, climate resilient future by embracing such innovation.
In fight against global warming, we may contribute and fulfill our responsibilities by using renewable resources, reducing waste, and keeping energy. We also wish to support sustainability policies and compel important environment reforms. Little adjustment like adopting eco-friendly transportation, conserving electricity and water, and planting trees can make a big difference.
Hello again. Now I'll share my thoughts about reducing air pollution and how. Promoting carpooling in rural areas can significantly help reduce air pollution by decreasing the number of cars on the road. Organizing rides for school and community events is an effective way to achieve this. Additionally, recycling and composting minimize landfill waste and the pollution caused by producing new materials. Reducing air pollution is crucial for our health, the environment, the economy, and our future generations.
Stewardship values within Christianity are interactive with personal responsibility. We are responsible for keeping the world in the same condition we receive it in because the world belongs to God. and it is simply loaned to us. It is entrusted to us, so we should take care of it rather than destroy it.
I believe embracing stewardship values help us understand our responsibility to care for God's creation. The Bible tells us that we are trusted with the earth's resources, so it's our moral duty to protect and preserve it for future generations. By making ethical daily choices, like reducing waste and conversing energy, we show our love for God and His world. Let's practice sustainability, reduce our footprint, and encourage others to join us in this vital mission.
Climate change is not just an environmental issue. It is a moral imperative that challenges us to live out our values. So, what can we do? First, we can reduce waste by recycling, composting, and cutting down single use plastics. These small changes in our daily lives can make a significant difference. Second, we can support business that prioritize sustainability. We send a powerful message about our values by purchasing from companies committed to environmentally friendly products. I believe faith communities can play a vital role in this movement. We can engage in community initiatives like tree planting or cleanup events, fostering a sense of collective responsibility.
As we wrap up today's discussion, we thank our guests for coming here. We've heard some beautiful insight about the importance of proactive measures in our communities. Waiting for change won't lead to progress, and we must act now, whether through advocacy, education, or community engagement. We have a role to play.
That's right, City. Listening to our speakers share their experiences and knowledge has been inspiring. As we end this session, I want to remind our listeners that every small action counts. Together, we can create a meaningful change. Thank you to all our speakers for their invaluable contributions and to our audiences for tuning in. Let's stay motivated and committed to making a change.
The podcast demonstrates how Christian principles should guide the efforts to combat climate change and speaks out about the urgent call to improve the air quality in Mindanao. We know now that the Bible encourages us to care for the environment, and we can do just that by putting these teachings into action. After all, it is a reminder that saving the environment is everybody's job. We can take the most minor possible action now and work toward a much cleaner and healthier future.
I would like to thank everyone for coming here today and that I hope that everyone learned something and I hope that you spend your day well today.
Bye,
Bye everyone.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.